What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka Allfires. Now, there's a really good chance in the last couple of days you've seen headlines about Chris Hemsworth, either on social media or in the normal places you get your Marvel news, about a diagnosis that was taken while he was filming Limitless for Disney+, and where he could have chosen to omit that footage from the TV show and keep the diagnosis secret, he decided to leave it in, and as he said, to try to inspire those that may find themselves in the same place. That's why it's become public discussion and as of late, and we weren't going to run an article or any sort of update about his diagnosis because it was covered in rather well in Variety. But it is the quote that he recently said that's now been published in an interview with Vanity Fair, reported in multiple places, including Collider, that makes us feel like Thor 5 might be his last film. We'll talk about that exact quote. We'll also go over what his diagnosis was, him stepping away from the role, how that led to headlines of him retiring, which were slightly erroneous. We're breaking it all down, the most recent news, and the quote by Chris Hemsworth himself that may lead us to think that Thor 5 might be his last. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button. We do daily Marvel content at the channel, and that's all we do. Everything from official Easter egg breakdowns, trailers, and reviews to the occasional industry insider report and everything in between. So if that sort of thing's for you, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below. That will automatically enter you to win our ongoing PS5 giveaway. If you want, stick around to the end of the video. We'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, so for the sake of this video, we're actually going to work backwards, starting with the most recent quote from Chris Hemsworth himself in an interview with Vanity Fair, and why fans are now thinking Thor 5 might call for his death. This is reported by Collider. Quote, Chris Hemsworth has told Vanity Fair after 4 standalone films as the God of Thunder, he might soon be calling time on his role of Thor, saying, I feel like we'd probably have to close the book if I ever did it again. You know what I mean? I feel like it probably warrants that. I feel like it'd probably be the finale, but that's not based on anything anyone's told me or any sort of plans. You have this birth of a hero, the journey of a hero, then the death of a hero. And I don't know, am I at that stage? Who knows? But as Collider goes on to acutely point out, during that same interview, he said stuff like he had a positive experience on the last film and would be completely open to another Thor film. Quote, Taika Waititi, if he was there, something unique and fresh and unexpected to do with the character in the world. I always loved the experience. I've been very thankful and been able to do something different each time. Quick side note, I think every Marvel fan is calling for something different than Thor Love and Thunder. That is a rant for a separate video. But in the meantime, and even in light of those follow-up comments, if you take the first part of the quote and add it to the news just days before, it certainly seemed like it spelled the end for Chris Hemsworth's involvement in the MCU, playing the character Thor, which, if he shows up in Secret Wars in 2026, will have been playing Thor for really close to 20 years at this point. Now, days before, if you hadn't gotten caught up on the news, there were a lot of people wrongly reporting that Chris Hemsworth was retiring. He literally said point blank it wasn't his resignation, but this was reported by Variety pretty concisely, why we didn't run a video on it. They reported 2 days ago, quote, Chris Hemsworth told Vanity Fair that he's planning to take a good chunk of time off his work once the press tour for Disney's series Limitless wraps. In the 5th episode of the series, Hemsworth meets a doctor, and it's revealed that Thor actor has a genetic predisposition for Alzheimer's. As Vanity Fair reports, his makeup includes 2 copies of a gene APOE4, one from his mother and one from his father, which studies have linked to an increased risk in Alzheimer's disease. Hemsworth said, it's not like I've been handed my resignation, and added, it's not a predeterministic gene, but it's a strong indication. 10 years ago, I think it was more of a determinant. Basically saying he's not absolutely going to develop Alzheimer's, he just has a higher genetic predisposition for that happening, which means when he's finished with what he's been doing, and he's been working on a ton of films, guys. Extraction 2's already done, Mad Max Fury Road's already done. He has a ton of stuff coming out. He's just going to take some time off, and he says simplify, and that led to a lot of headlines that said he was retiring and from acting, but I kind of felt like that was erroneous because I don't even think he knows what he's going to do, and give him some time to process. Look, I think videos about people's health in this sort of way are a little bit weird and on the fringe for what I cover at the channel, but we're all Marvel fans and as obsessed with what's going on behind the scenes with the actors and what's going on behind the scenes with the films as we are with the films and the stories themselves. His quote about Thor 5, guys, I don't think that it would be the end unless he's going to show up in Secret Wars. So for me, if there's going to be a Thor 5, and I wouldn't anticipate that happening before Secret Wars might just end up being the end. It would really add some stakes to a story if Thor at some point is killed during Kang Dynasty or Secret Wars. and shoot, again, he'll have been playing that character if he's in Secret Wars in 2026 since May 2nd of 2011, and then he was shooting before that, so we'll be at like 16 years of him being the character. Hey, nothing lasts forever, Quantummania, but I would like to, as one, personally say that Thor Ragnarok showed so much promise, and Taika Waititi's work as a whole has always been so good. Whether or not Taika Waititi would even be interested in a Thor 5, and look, I know there were a ton of rumors after Thor Love and Thunder saw so much pushback, not really amongst the critics, but really amongst the fan base itself, for just not being a good film. And in the light of that, there were rumors about maybe Marvel Studios not doing a Thor 5, Taika Waititi maybe not coming back. Those are just rumors, and I think it's important to mention that with the success of Thor Ragnarok, people just want to harp on the bad. Thor Ragnarok is one of my favorite MCU films of all time, and it's undeniable that Taika Waititi has an absolutely impeccable track record with filmmaking. Jojo Rabbit, What We Do in the Shadows, he's made a lot of really good movies. Guys, sometimes people don't do their best work. It happens. But for a Thor character like Chris Hemsworth, I'd love for them to do a Thor 5. This is just a long way of me saying I do not want to see Thor Love and Thunder be his last installment. The end of that movie really sort of made it look like he was sort of, retiring to be a parent, and that could be a send-off for the character. But if not Thor 5, if Marvel Studios chooses not to make that, or it's not at least on the slate now, I would really love for them to find an end for his character, and I certainly hope that Thor will be a part of Secret Wars, which I'm sure you guys feel exactly the same. But let me know down in the comments where you see the end for Thor, and if you agree with me that we don't want Thor 4 to be his last film. I'd rather a much better send-off and another shot with the character to have a much better, something closer to Ragnarok. I'm sure some of you will agree. I'm sure some of you will disagree. That's what the comments are for. Let me know all your thoughts down below quickly. Let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. Also, quick reminder, we will be doing a watch party for the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, assuming that it goes up super late like it normally does on Thanksgiving, to be released on Friday. It's the 25th, but that would be usually 2 a.m. late on Thursday night. If they're smart, while everybody's home for Thanksgiving, they're going to run that thing at like 8 or 10 p.m., but that's just wishful thinking. Either way, we're doing a watch party for it. We will also be doing watch parties for every single US World Cup qualifying game here in the first round. I am a diehard soccer fan. I know it is not Marvel related in any way, but I'm going to be sitting here. I'd love to watch the soccer games with you guys. So if you're in for that kind of thing, if you're rooting for the US or any other team, but you want to come by for the US game watch parties, we'll be here. Now quickly, the giveaway stuff. We're still giving away a PlayStation 5. The next one is 1 million subscribers. Given the fact that YouTube has decided to play Mad Max with their own algorithm, I have no idea when we will hit that. We're also going to launch new giveaways next week. If you want to be entered to win, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below, because it's truly random. The more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners will be announced at the end of videos, like we're doing here, not in the comments. Avoid spammers. Remember, no YouTuber will ever ask you for shipping. No YouTuber will ever ask you to contact them on a third-party app, and the people asking you to do so are saying so on every comment and don't have a check mark by their name. Be smart, be vigilant. My name's Michael Roman. You can find me in a couple of places: Instagram and Twitter @I'mFires. You can also find me on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple, iTunes, wherever you listen to original music under the name Allfires. And while I sincerely appreciate you checking my music out, thanks for checking this channel out. Stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.